In this video, I'm going to go over how you can get the best start and follow floor. This video is aimed at people new to the game, however people already familiar with the game might learn a thing or two. Compared to my last two videos, this video is not scripted. Let me know if you think this is an improvement over my last two videos. Through the vault, I'd recommend you pick up every single thing you can. Go through all the rooms, pick up everything, even all the junk items, because it will help you a lot later in the game. Make sure that you open the computer or access the computer in the kitchen, as there's a holotape minigame in there that you'll probably want to grab. But don't worry about missing anything, as you can come back into the vault at a later date. As seen in the video, I grab everything on the outside going down to Sanctuary Hills. Pick up everything in the buckets. Collect the plants as you're walking down to Sanctuary, and the first thing you should do in Sanctuary is talk to Codsworth. You'll get a speech check in the middle of the conversation and it'll be yellow. Don't worry about passing it, as everybody will pass it, and he'll give you a holotape.
Codsworth.
As I live and breathe. Oh, it's really you.
Codsworth? You're still here. So, other people could still be alive too.
But of course. But you seem the worst.
She's...
Sir, it's been 8.
Sean's been kidnapped.
It's worth.
Doesn't matter how long it's been.
A bit of. That means you're.
See?
Codsworth, you're acting a little bit weird.
It doesn't matter how much charisma you have, you can pass it no matter what.
Centuries with no one to talk to, no one to serve. I spent the first 10 years trying to keep the floors waxed, but nothing.
At the end of the conversation, Codsworth is going to ask you whether or not you want to help him clear out all the surrounding houses. Even though I say no in the video, I'd recommend saying yes, as it makes it really easy. And if you're a new player or if you're on survival, all the enemies give you meat, which if you cook it, it's really good food at the beginning of the game. So make sure you do that.
Sure.
As seen in the video, I pick up the Grognak magazine, pick it up no matter what, and the special booklet. The special booklet is unique, as you can pick any of the special stats and it will increase it by 1. But it gets capped out at 10, but if you get a debuff somehow, let's say you ate something or you're lacking something and it makes it so you have 1 less perception than normal, if you already have 10 of that special stat, taking the special booklet will permanently increase it by 1, so you'll permanently have 11 of that special stat, which if you can get that to work, I recommend doing it. It's a lot easier in survival. All you gotta do is not eat, and you can get either 11 endurance or 11 perception or 11 or whatever special stat you want. Just make sure, I'm not sure if it works if you don't have 10 of the stat already. I'd recommend getting 10 of the stat already, but it might work here, so. And seeing here, I didn't do it in the video, but scrap every single thing you can in Sanctuary. Unless something looks really cool and you want to keep it, scrap everything, because you'll get a lot of materials which you can use for building, and you can use it for upgrading, fixing your weapons and armor, which is really good. I ran away now, but if you want easy way to get like maybe 10, 15, even 20 levels if you have the right intelligence, I'd recommend finding the fences in the build menu and scrap a house and build as many fences as you can, because they're worth 2 wood, and if you scrap them for the parts back you get 1, so you could just keep doing that. I did it 1 time on survival and I got up 15 levels without leaving Sanctuary Hills, which is really good. And as seen, I follow the path I take, because in the water upcoming you can find a generator, and activating it, if you follow the pipe, it makes it so you can open. It's hard to explain, you see it upcoming. It makes it so you can open this hatch and opening it, you can get a bunch of caps. There's also a bunch of miscellaneous items, but there's a revolver, which is a really good early game pistol. I highly recommend taking it. And as you can see, there's a bunch of enemies in the distance. It's up to you and whether or not you want to fight them. I would, because you can get a lot of good stuff, but I choose not to because I didn't want to make the video that long. But if you decide to kill them, just follow me after. We're gonna go to a robot disposal ground. We're gonna get a really good weapon at the beginning of the game. It's called the Fat Man. And we're going to get a bunch of fusion cores to power some of the armor we'll get later down the road. Be warned, as the Fat Man is 30 pounds, so you may not be able to carry it, especially if you're on survival. And the trunk, depending on your luck, can spawn in more than one fusion core, but I only have one luck in the video, so I'll just get one. And the mini nuke, follow the video to find it. It's in a bunch of tires and it's glitched out. You gotta shoot it or just fiddle around with it to get it so you can actually pick it up. Go into the little shed, make sure to collect everything found in the shed, and turn on the terminal. Like in the vault, there's a holotape in there, and you can activate the sentry bot, that giant robot that we just passed by. The holotape gives you a bunch of different options, but what we want to do is activate it, and we want to self-destruct it instantly. You won't be missing up much by self-destructing it, but you get a bunch of fusion cores, which we need to power our armor. So it's really good. Just stand by. Also, there's a bunch of mole rats that will pop up after you activate him. I would recommend he'll kill some. You can kill some to get some XP if you want, and just make sure to loot all of them before leaving. I don't in the video, I run away, but that's because I don't need, especially if you're on survival, you want to get the food. And like I said, after you activate self-destruct, make sure to run away so you don't kill yourself. He usually drops 3 fusion cores. I don't remember how many I got while recording this. I think I got 2, but the max you can get is 3, I believe, which is still really good. It's also really buggy, so if he doesn't self-destruct or activate, just keep trying in the holotape. Just spam A or your equivalent on what you're playing on, just to make it so it actually self-destructs in my case, or activates. It's quite a big explosion. Make sure you stand back. And a bunch of more rats to this point. See, I got 2 fusion cores. Pick up everything he drops, and now we're gonna go run and get a set power armor. Now, if you do the fence thing, if you get to level 15 before doing this by doing the fencing in Sanctuary, you have a chance to spawn T50 power armor here, which is the 3rd best set of power armor in the game. I only get T45 because I'm only level 1 while picking it up. So if you want T51 instead of T45, make sure to level up before you come here. You need to be at least level 15, I believe, before it has a chance to spawn in. And no matter what, you will never get a full set of power armor. I got lucky as I got all pieces except one, but in this spot, it will be next to impossible. You just can't get a full set. It's not registered to spawn in, no matter what luck you have. This next section, we're going to a random encounter location. In this video, I get the encounter we're looking for, but if you don't get it, before you even attempt to walk over here, make sure you save at either Sanctuary if you're on survival, or save at Vault 111. Follow the path I take, and once you get to the power pylon, turn left, and if there's a blue car with some dude looking at it, you got it good. If you don't see that, you get whatever random encounter, like a bunch of ghouls or a bunch of rats or just some radiation barrels. Reload the save at Vault 111 or Sanctuary and come here again. As long as you do not save too close, it will be a different encounter every single time. This is what we're doing here is getting his armor, and there are 2 different ways to get his armor. You can A, shoot out the fusion core, the thing that's powering it, which will make him get out of it because he has to, or you can kill him. I recommend killing him with the fat man we just got earlier, but if you don't want to kill him for whatever reason, shoot the fusion core out as you'll get the power armor. But the only problem with that is shooting it out, making him get out of it, it counts as stealing. No matter what you do, I believe anyway, it will always be marked red. It will always be marked as stolen. So every time you like switch around the parts or pick them up or even get in the power armor, people won't like that. If you have a companion on you, you will lose affinity with them. If there's a bunch of companions at a settlement and you play around with the armor in the settlement, you'll lose affinity with all the companions. And if you enter it or pick a piece of armor up in like a location like Diamond City, they'll all start attacking you, all of the citizens. So I'd recommend killing him. I do both in the video and I show you what I mean for those who don't know. See how it's written in red. That means it's not yours. Like I said, kill him. I opened his Wikipedia page. He's a member of the Autumn Cats, which is a minor faction in the game. You might not even encounter them on your first playthrough, but they're a cool faction. There's a series of quests that they get you to do, nothing major, and killing him does not affect that one bit. The only thing he does is once you go back to their hideout, which I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil it, he will, at the end of the quest line, he helps, but if he's missing, like if he's dead, it doesn't make a difference at all. It only makes it a bit easier. And then after that, at their hideout, he can be seen wandering around, but some people have reported that after the quest line anyway, he just disappears without a trace. So if I were you, I'd recommend just killing him, getting the armor, because that makes it yours. Nobody will have a problem with it. It's really good armor. And he can be, if you don't feel like reloading a save, he can be found all across the Commonwealth. It's just lucky that he can spawn in Grade 5 Alt 111, which makes it really good for you, I guess.
That's disappointing.
Ain't that a bite? You seem like a cool kid. Our machines or something.
Oh, yeah. Before you kill him, I should have said this earlier, but make sure you talk to him, have a discussion with him, as he will mark the location of his hangout, of his base, his friend's base, on your map. He'll mark the location of their garage, which is their hideout. Like I said, see how killing him, it just lets you take it, it's not highlighted in red or anything. After you get it, fast travel back to Sanctuary. I just think it looks better and well, I really like the paint job that comes with it automatically, but I guess you can say for roleplay purposes, if you ever, even though it doesn't make a difference in the game, even if you have the paint on, they don't give a shit. I just think, in my head, it's like, well, if you go there with the paint on, they'll know it's you that killed him, where I just like taking it off because it just seems more immersive, but a lot of people don't give a shit about that, so do whatever you want. But we picked up the magazine for the other paint armor at the place with that robot, so if you want to put that one on, you can do it for free. It doesn't cost anything anyway. I like having no material on mod. oh my god, I like having it so there's no material mod on, but it's just up to you. Do whatever you think is best. I believe I said this already, but T60 is the second best power armor set in the game, especially if you're on survival. It'll just make the game a whole lot easier, because at the beginning of the game, especially on survival, it's the hardest. It's super difficult, especially if you're doing like a 1 life playthrough. It's a lifesaver. The next thing we do is we head to the Red Rocket, which is another settlement just like Sanctuary Hills. But before we go there, you can find another locker sort of thing. It's a bag, and it can contain like a weapons and a bunch of ammo and stuff. I'd recommend you get that. It's right by the statue, so just jump up on the little hill there and pick up whatever you find inside. Luckily for you, I'm not sure how long, but after a few in-game days, it will respawn. Everything inside of it will respawn, and you can get more loot. Next thing we do is we move over to this Concord Tower, which has a bunch of miscellaneous goods, just like a bunch of purified water around it. I'd recommend picking all of it up, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I don't see a point not to though. But the next thing we do is go to the Red Rocket. There's a few things here. It's another settlement. I believe I said that already, but I'd recommend choosing one settlement, either Sanctuary Hills or Red Rocket, to make your base, as managing two at the beginning of the game will be really difficult. But just scrap everything you can find there and either bring all the materials to the Red Rocket or bring all the materials to Sanctuary Hills. I think building at the Red Rocket is more fun, but it's just personal preference. And as seen in the video, I go to this mole rat den, a little cave underneath of it. I recommend, even though I don't do it, pick up every single thing you can in there. There's a lot of good junk, and kill all of the mole rats and collect their meat, as it's really good food, especially if you cook it. But what I do is grab another fusion core, which with the new power armor set we acquired, it just makes it so we can use it for longer, as fusion cores is what power the power armor. The next thing I do is, I don't know if I pull it off that effectively, as I haven't done it in quite a long time, but there's a trick that you can do with VATS, where if you activate VATS and aim it at the enemy, quickly getting out of VATS and aiming down sights with your weapon, it'll make it so it lines up anyway, which, especially on enemies like bloat flies or actual humanoid enemies, doing that trick makes it so it's really easy to hit them, especially really far away. The next thing we do is we go into a house which has a baseball bat behind the door. Definitely pick this up, as this is one of the best melee weapons you can get at the beginning of the game. If you have the right perks to modify it, it can be a really deadly weapon if you're a melee build. Going back to what I said with the special book, I'd recommend putting 11 strength into melee, as melee directly affects, or as strength directly affects the damage you do with melee weapons. And the next thing I do is a glitch when it comes to reloading, where if you shoot a few bullets but don't feel like going to the reload animation, opening the Pip-Boy, equipping, de-equipping, and re-equipping the weapon just instantly reloads it for you. Now, for like a pistol, it doesn't save that much time, but for like a minigun or a Fat Man, really heavy weapons, it can save a lot of time and it can get you out of a lot of tricky situations. The next thing we do is we're gonna go pick up a sniper rifle, a really good sniper rifle at the beginning of the game. It's a pipe rifle, so it's really easy, really customizable, but it's at the end of Concord, which is the city we find ourselves in. You have to come here for a quest anyway. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'd recommend just coming here either after or before and picking up the sniper rifle. It's found right by a corpse on the second floor of the house. Follow the path I take in the video to get to it. The last thing I do here is just test it out on a bunch of raiders. Don't worry about, this is where the first actual main quest of the game takes place, so don't worry, you'll come here anyway. So it's really good, is if you shoot them in the head, you instantly kill them, which is really good to have her early on. Especially on survival, as you'll do way more damage. As seen coming up, I try the VATS trick again. So if you don't remember, the VATS trick is aiming with VATS, so activating it, aiming, let's say, at the head, and then quickly pressing B or whatever button B is on yours to get out of the VATS system entirely. And in the 2 seconds you have after deactivating it, let's say, quickly aim down sights and just fire, as 95% of the time you will hit the target. So it's an easy way to line up shots without actually taking any points. But for like snipers, or if you're really up close, you don't really need to do that. And the last thing we do in the video is, back when you're going through Vault 111, there's a weapon called the Cryolator locked up in a case, which we couldn't get because we didn't have the right lockpick. But with dog meat, the companion you get at the Red Rocket, you could actually break the game sort of and get him to fetch it, pick it up for you, bypassing the lock entirely. Which is, if you want the weapon early on, it's just why wouldn't you do it? It just saves time, to be honest.
Ooh, boy. You may want to keep your distance.
I don't know what I'm doing here, I'm just wandering around. In a few seconds, I'll cut to the next part of the video where I actually go through Vault 111 and get it. I had to record this video so many times because the footage either got corrupted, the audio didn't work, the video was very laggy, just a bunch of different problems. So I re-recorded the whole thing, and I sort of took the best parts from each different recording session and just compiled it into one video. I also cut out all the loading screens and stuff, so if they're like sudden jump cuts or something, that explains it. But like I said, you can come into Vault 111 at any time. It's fitting because we came back here, but when you first start the game and walk through Vault 111, like I said, pick up everything, but the things that's most important, I recommend picking up all of the bottles you find, because if you're on survival, all the bottles, if you have the Vault Tech Workshop DLC, there's a water fountain that you can build in any settlement, and it doesn't require any source of water or any power or anything. You can literally put it on any wall, and you can either drink from it and get purified water no matter what, or you can fill up your bottles with purified water, which is a really easy way to get purified water.
Over here.
If you have the Game of the Year edition, you don't have to worry, as it comes with the Vault Tech DLC installed. But if you don't have it, it's a few bucks now, and it's one of the best DLCs in the game. You get to build a vault just like the one we're in now. Same when it comes to
Check it out.
scrapping everything in Sanctuary. Unless you're on like, if you're on survival, don't scrap the bottles. You don't get anything for them anyway. You just get a few glass. Save them, build the fountain, and fill them up with purified water. I remember last time I did it, I had over 50 bottles of purified water, which is really good early on in survival. But if you're on any mode other than survival, you can't do it with the fountain. You can only drink from it. You can't fill up bottles on any mode other than survival, which is a bummer, but you should be playing in survival anyway, as it's the best mode to play on. But that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching.